I think part of it is like, okay, even when in particularly like you see this in the Latin, but when you say man, right, vir, courage, it's the same word for courage. So when you're talking about masculinity and what it means to be a man, there's going to be certain traits that are pretty intrinsic. This is why Joshua is being told repeatedly, like, have courage, act like a man, have courage, like on repeat. You wouldn't hear necessarily the same things said to a woman about what it means to be a woman, right? It's like you said, it's generally gentleness, quiet spirit. And that's because of the marriage relationship and her relationship to her husband, which requires submission. He's called to lead, which is more of in the bent of courage. She's called to submit and to help, which is really more in the bent of gentleness and a soft spirit. And I would take all this back too, though, right? So we're talking about husbands and the difficulty in marriage counseling and stuff like that. Fundamental question that a lot of people don't ask is I was reading a book on modesty by Wendy Shallett. It's pretty interesting, Jewish lady. And she says in there, though, she's like, every time I see like a woman being a whore, I always say to the girl, where's your father? Does your father know what's going on? And people are like, oh, you're one of those patriarchy people. And she said, what's so bad about belonging to someone who loves you? And it really struck me that the question we're not asking a lot of women is where are their fathers? Who is the father that sent them to college to live in a co-ed dorm and to fornicate and who let the mother give them the birth control pill on their way out the door? Like, where is dad saying, put some clothes on? One of the first things that the father does, our father, after the fall into sin, is he sees fig leaves and he's like, no, you're going to go back upstairs and you're going to put more clothes on. That is not acceptable. We don't tolerate that. There's rules and there's order. Well, this is the stuff of fathers, and I've said to the guys in the church here quite a bit. When Paul tells Titus, there's disorder, there's chaos. And so what do you do in Crete when you have disorder and chaos? He said, I want you to create order by appointing elders. What are elders? They're the exemplary fathers in their community. So I've often said fathers are God's instrument for creating order in a world of chaos, right? You are to rule the chaos. You are to set boundaries for your girls just as much as your boys. But I think especially, we talk about how fatherlessness impacts men. But I think so much of the feminism and the destruction of society that's been brought on by the female sex, that too could just be traced back to where were the fathers?